In a foggy UK city, a man sacrificed everything for his brother's wealth, forced to bow daily until he uncovered a terrifying secret. Watch what happened. The city never slept properly. Not in that part of the United Kingdom where old stone buildings stood shoulder to shoulder with glass towers. In Manchester, fog often clung to the streets like it was listening. People said the city remembered things. Sins, bargains, blood. The young man was called Daniel. He lived in a narrow brick house near the edge of the city, where the streetlights flickered as if unsure they should stay on. Daniel was not poor because he was lazy. He was poor because life had chosen him for patience. His hands were rough from work, his eyes always tired, yet soft. He had one child, Samuel, barely 5 years old. The boy laughed loudly, like he trusted the world without question. Daniel also had a younger brother, Ethan. Ethan had always wanted more. More money, more respect, more power. As children, Ethan had complained about their small meals, their worn shoes, their quiet life. Daniel had always given him his share, always stood between Ethan and trouble. Even when their parents died, Daniel became father and shield. Until the night Ethan came to him with shaking hands and a whisper that changed everything. There was a place beneath the city, Ethan said. Not a metaphor, a real place. Old, hidden, buried beneath forgotten tunnels left from centuries past. A place where certain men went broke and returned rich. A place that demanded something in return. Daniel laughed at first. Then he saw the fear in Ethan's eyes. Real fear and hunger. "I've been there," Ethan whispered. "They spoke to me." Daniel asked what they wanted. Ethan did not answer immediately. Outside, the wind howled through the alley like it was warning them. "They want blood," Ethan finally said. "Not mine." Daniel stood up so fast his chair fell over. "No, they said it must be innocent," Ethan continued, his voice cracking. "Pure, a first love, a first loss." Daniel understood before Ethan said another word. The room felt too small to hold his breath. Days passed, then weeks. Debt collectors came. Threats followed. Daniel watched Samuel sleep every night, his chest rising and falling, unaware of the storm gathering around him. Ethan came again and again, desperation turning into obsession. He spoke of mansions, cars, respect, of never bowing to anyone again. The final night came quietly. Daniel carried Samuel through the fog, telling him stories to keep him calm. The tunnels beneath the city smelled of damp earth and rusted metal. Candles burned where no candles should. Shadows moved without bodies. Daniel's hands shook as he placed his son on the stone. Samuel looked up at him and smiled. That smile stayed with Daniel forever. After that night, Manchester changed for Ethan. Money arrived from nowhere. Investments succeeded impossibly. His name opened doors that had once been slammed shut. Within 5 years, Ethan owned a mansion on the outskirts of the city, guarded by gates taller than Daniel's old house. Daniel owned nothing. Ethan invited him to live on the estate, not as family, but as staff. Every morning, Daniel was made to kneel on the cold marble floor of the mansion's entrance hall. Ethan would descend the stairs in silk robes, his footsteps slow, deliberate. Daniel had to bow his head until it touched the floor. "Lower," Ethan would say calmly, and Daniel obeyed. Servants whispered. Some pitied him, others feared him. Ethan treated Daniel like a reminder he wanted buried, assigning him the worst tasks, mocking him in front of guests, reminding him who was powerful now. Yet something was wrong. Daniel noticed it in the mirrors first. Ethan never lingered near them. His reflection sometimes moved a second too late. At night, Daniel heard voices beneath the mansion. Deep, murmuring sounds that vibrated through the walls. One evening, while cleaning Ethan's private study, Daniel found a locked drawer slightly open. Inside was a leather-bound book, its pages yellowed and stained dark at the edges. Daniel's hands trembled as he read. It wasn't a record of wealth. It was a record of payment. Names, dates, innocence, and at the center of it all, etched again and again in careful handwriting, was Ethan's name circled in red. Daniel's heart pounded as the final line burned into his mind. The giver becomes the gate. The gate never closes. That night, Daniel followed the sounds beneath the mansion, down past the wine cellar, past rooms no architect had designed, until he reached a door that pulsed like it was breathing. And from behind it, he heard Ethan's voice, not pleading, not commanding, but answering to something far older. That was when Daniel understood. His younger brother was not just wealthy. He was the source. And the mansion was not built on land. It was built on a debt that was still being paid. Daniel pressed his palm against the door. It was warm, too warm for stone. The murmuring stopped the moment he touched it, like a room falling silent when someone overhears a secret. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the door opened by itself, slowly, without a sound. What lay beyond was not a room. It was a hollowed chamber stretching deeper than the mansion should allow, its walls carved with symbols that hurt the eyes if stared at too long. The floor was blackened, not with soot, but with something that looked absorbed, like the stone had been fed. At the center stood Ethan. He was barefoot, dressed in white, his arms stretched outward. Thin, glowing lines ran from his chest into the walls, pulsing like veins. Every pulse sent a tremor through the room above. Daniel stepped forward. Ethan. The name echoed strangely, as if something else repeated it in mockery. Ethan turned slowly. His face looked younger, too smooth, too calm, but his eyes were hollow pits of devotion and terror. "You weren't supposed to be here," Ethan said softly. Daniel's voice shook. "What did you turn yourself into?" Ethan smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Necessary." The walls throbbed again. Daniel staggered as a pressure pressed against his chest, forcing him to kneel without being touched. He realized then why Ethan demanded bows every morning. It wasn't pride. It was maintenance. "You think I'm rich because of them?" Ethan continued, gesturing vaguely to the walls. "No, I'm rich because of me. I'm the bridge. I'm the channel. They pour it through me." Daniel clenched his fists. "And what do they take?" Ethan hesitated. Behind him, shadows twisted into shapes that suggested mouths, hands, eyes. "They take time," Ethan said finally. "Pieces. Small things. Things no one would notice." Daniel thought of the book. The names. The dates. "Those were not small things," he said. Ethan's expression hardened. "They would have died anyway. Illness. Accidents. Streets like ours don't forgive innocence." Daniel felt something inside him break. Not loudly, but completely. "And my son?" he asked. The chamber went cold. For the first time, Ethan looked away. "That," he whispered, "was the foundation." The symbols flared. A scream. Many screams layered together, rushed through the room and then vanished. Daniel stood, shaking but unbroken. "You made me kneel every day," he said, his voice low. "You made me bow to you. Why?" Ethan laughed, a thin, strained sound. "Because if you didn't, they would remind me of you, of what I owe." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You think you're my servant. You're my anchor. As long as you live here, humiliated, obedient, the balance holds. Your suffering feeds the structure." Daniel's stomach twisted. Above them, somewhere in the mansion, a clock struck midnight. The glowing lines along Ethan's chest suddenly darkened. Ethan gasped and fell to one knee. Daniel felt it then. A shift like the city itself holding its breath. Something had gone wrong. From the walls came a new sound, deeper than before. Impatient, hungry. One of the symbols cracked. Ethan looked up at Daniel, panic flooding his eyes. "You weren't supposed to know," he said. "Knowing changes the weight." The chamber began to tremble violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. The shadows detached from the walls, stretching toward Ethan like starving hands. "What did you do?" Daniel shouted. Ethan laughed again, hysterical now. "I did nothing. You did. The moment you read the book, the debt shifted. Awareness is currency." A voice, singular, massive, everywhere at once, rolled through the chamber. "The giver returns." Daniel's blood ran cold. From the darkness behind the altar, a shape began to form. Not fully visible, but unmistakably familiar. Small, still. Daniel stumbled backward as the outline of a child stepped forward, his feet not touching the ground. Samuel's face was unchanged, except for the eyes. They were ancient, and they were fixed on Ethan. Ethan screamed, not the scream of a powerful man losing control, but the raw cry of a boy who finally understood the price of wanting more. He scrambled backward, the glowing lines tearing from his chest like burning wires. Blood followed them, dark, thick, unreal. No, this isn't possible, Ethan begged, crawling toward Daniel. They promised me. They said the child was gone. Spent. Finished. Samuel floated closer. With every step he took, the chamber aged. Stone cracking, symbols peeling like dead skin. The shadows retreated from him, trembling. Daniel's legs failed him. He dropped to his knees, not because he was forced, not because anyone demanded it, but because his heart could not hold the weight of what stood before him. Samuel, he whispered. The child stopped in front of him. Slowly, Samuel reached out and touched Daniel's face. The touch was warm, real, and in that instant, Daniel felt it. Every night he had cried alone, every bow, every humiliation, every breath taken in guilt. The pain lifted, not erased, but acknowledged. Seen. Then Samuel turned to Ethan. You used me, Samuel said. His voice was no longer that of a child. It layered young and old, many in one. Ethan shook violently. I did it for us, for the family, for him. He pointed desperately at Daniel. He agreed. Samuel's eyes hardened. He paid. You collected. The massive voice returned, louder now, angrier. The foundation wakes. The gate must close. The floor split open. From beneath the chamber rose hands made of shadow and stone, clawing upward, dragging the mansion itself into a slow collapse. Above them, walls cracked, alarms screamed, glass shattered. Ethan was lifted off the ground, suspended midair by the dark veins still attached to him. No, he cried. Daniel, help me. You're my brother. Daniel stood. For the first time in years, he stood tall. You stopped being my brother the night you made my son a currency, Daniel said quietly. He looked at Samuel. Tears streamed down his face. If this ends, does it end you too? Samuel smiled sadly. I was never meant to stay. Ethan thrashed as the shadows pulled tighter. Wait, Ethan screamed. I can fix this. I can give them more. I can give him. The shadows closed over Ethan's mouth. The glowing veins snapped. Silence fell. The mansion above collapsed inward like a dying lung, swallowed by the ground. Streets cracked. Sirens wailed in the distance. By morning, authorities would call it a sinkhole, an unexplained structural failure, another mystery buried under British soil. The chamber began to dissolve. Samuel stepped closer to Daniel one last time. You loved me enough to lose me, he said gently. That love is heavier than any debt. Daniel reached out, but his hands passed through empty air. Samuel faded, smiling. The darkness receded. The gate closed. Daniel woke at dawn on a quiet street, lying on cold pavement dusted with ash. Where the mansion once stood was a sealed pit surrounded by warning tape and confused onlookers. No sign of Ethan. No sign of tunnels. No sign of symbols. Just Daniel. Free. Weeks later, Daniel left the city. But sometimes, when fog settles thick over Manchester and the streets grow unnaturally quiet, people swear they hear a child laughing softly beneath the ground. Not trapped, not angry, but watching, waiting, and the city remembers. Thank you for watching till this extent. Kindly subscribe for more.